Hi guys, welcome to www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com. Today we are going to review the September issue of our online magazine as we are coming to the end of October. I like to put up the September issue, so the previous month, so that you can see it, enjoy it for a long time if you've not had an opportunity yet to explore it. So this is the homepage of www.celebrationsoflifemagazine.com. And we had some really interesting opportunities this month to learn about the Swedish death culture. September was suicide awareness. We kind of migrated from summer, as it was a blur, into fall, which will hopefully bring some more joy into people's lives. There is a great article on eulogies and how to produce one, as sometime in your lifetime you may be called upon to write one. I had a great article brought to us by a lovely lady, which we'll get to, in regards to seasons of grief. She wrote a book called Bloom Where You're Planted. Good Grief is talking with a former college friend, as well as a person who has experienced the situation of having someone in their family commit suicide. So, kind of some heavy stuff, but at the same time, some interesting learning as well as some lightness. So, let's get started. As per usual, my opening page does have the beach scene as we walk towards the beach. Now, we were blessed to have a conversation with the Swedish death doula and learn more about the death culture. As stated, it is National Suicide Prevention Month. So if you know somebody, you see the signs, read up on the signs. This is the number for them to call if you need to call, however it plays out. But this is the number for the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Okay? No one to plans. And when you click this link here, it does take you to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline page. Okay? So there are links built in to take you directly to them, to look them over further and learn more. So this is a welcome to our table. The purpose of Celebrations of Life magazine is to make the end of life a celebration. So this was something that came about in my life that I needed answers to figure out how to create a funeral in circumstances that made me also think about, well, it's not just about putting a body in the ground. There's a lot of other things that go along with that. So along with that, I decided to take a lesson on learning. So hence culture, history, fashion, flower. There are different types of funerals, not just in America, but outside of America, as well as food associated with funerals. Art is influenced by many things, and death is one of them, and much more. So lots to explore on this topic. So this is the second issue that was put out on September 1st. The next issue, October, magazine will be coming out. Topics we'll be covering will be music and other things. Yes, there is a warning because I do have a sense of humor, so I don't think this is all doom and gloom. It's death. It is inevitable, but at the same time, it's not all doom and gloom. So I do take nature and art walks as we go about learning. So I do take you on little nature walks. There is a YouTube page. If you click here, you will go to that YouTube link. Ta-da! Yes. So you will see when you click the link, Celebrations of Life is the YouTube page. Yes, I may only have one subscriber right now, but that's not a crisis. That's great. Whatever works. You don't have to subscribe, but if you like them, great. Give a thumbs up. If you don't like them, well, that's on you. It's not my fault. Take your own nature walk. Have fun. These are just my nature walks as a way of sharing because some people can't get out. I do ask that, if you want to give me your email address, I can keep you up to date on the latest. And if you have something to say, I am open to contributing articles, writers, etc. So I do welcome photography, art, articles, conversations, etc. in regards to this topic, as it were, as you saw the topics that I am interested in covering. So most of the photography here, excuse me, actually 99% of the photography you will see here is mine. Strictly my photos, my pictures, so nobody can blame me or say I stole from them. Also, we do have a Facebook page, we have an Instagram, and I do find Etsy people who do things in regards to and memoriam of people who have passed away. So in the upcoming October issue, there will be a few more people in the Etsy category that do different things other than what you see here. But if you do visit and if you do purchase from each of them, please let them know you found it here on celebrationsoflifemagazine.com. And Dances with Woods does offer a discount exclusively to those of you who purchase and find him through this site. So, not a bad thing in that place. He was kind enough to offer that discount. You will see that button shortly. So, Swedish death culture. I was able to speak with a lovely lady called Miss Gunnarsson, and she answered quite a bit of topics about the death culture. As you can see here, I'll move this a smidge forward. Or I could zoom in, things. Try not to fall off now. There we go. So, I asked her some questions, and she graciously answered them. And then we got on a Zoom conversation to have another chat, as it were, to clarify on questions and to discuss further the different cultural aspects that we have between here and Sweden. So I'm going to roll through this so you can read it at your leisure, so it's not too fast. And I'm honestly not going to read it to you because I know sometimes that annoys people. So again, these are the original conversation questions that I sent her. In bold, and these are the questions that she answered. Sadly, we didn't get too many crazy stories going on, out of respect. So as much fun as it would have been to get some crazy stories, we did not. Sorry. Now, death cafes are interesting. If you click this link, I'm so skilled with this linking stuff, it's fun. It will take you to said website where you can find out about people that are hosting them. Now, again, they are not a financial thing, so please don't just give money to people hosting these things. They're supposed to be open air conversations to be had. They are held in different places around the world. I haven't had one myself yet, but it is something of research in the future. Unfortunately, I was under the impression that Heige might not be something else. So it is Danish, hence it's not Swedish, so it didn't get covered. So apparently in Sweden, as you pay your taxes, certain things are covered. So it doesn't cover the nice funeral, but it does cover basics. So if you end up with no family and poor, you're pretty much guaranteed to get buried. And you don't go into too much of a pauper's funeral, as you will find out. There's a lot of sharing going on. So our average funeral costs, according to commercials, according to how you add it all up, can run pretty high. I'm going to investigate costs in another time frame. But overall, like I said, when you pay taxes in Sweden, the basic stuff is covered. Now, interestingly enough, they don't embalm. Sort of do in Stockholm a little bit, but otherwise, embalming's not a thing. One, it's not biodegradable, and two, I did not know this until more recently. Embalming fluid's kind of cancer causing, so not the best thing. So I did ask her about food and do people take the food, and technically they don't, but there is a reception sometimes that follows, and therefore you get that really cool cake sandwich that looks amazing. There's a picture somewhere in here besides that one. So you can see the different things you can fill it with. Mayonnaise is a big ingredient. This particular one takes you to the recipe. Bread, salmon, smoked salmon, chives, eggs, mayo, parsley, lemon juice, Greek yogurt, cream cheese, radishes, and pea shoot greens. Whatever pea shoot greens are, I honestly do not know. You assemble. So basically you got your crustless bread and start layering up. Ooh. Layer up, different layers, different things. And then at the end of the day, you have this comfort food, if you will. You can see the different layers. There's not really a side shot going on here. There we go. There's my side shot. So, you got bread, you got your layer of salmon, you got your bread, you got your layer of egg, you got your bread, you got your layer of technically mayonnaise, because they probably mix the Greek yogurt with one of these two toppings. But anyways, recipe is there. Don't take my word for it. At sugarlovespices.com. We're back to the top of the page so you can see it. Look at that. Sugar Love Spices. Sugarlovespices.com. So yes, the fancy Swedish name is that. Smorgastarta. You can assume I butchered it, naturally. And that is a Swedish sandwich cake, which I think is amazing. Honestly, I want to try it. Now, there is a traditional day in Sweden called All Saints Day. You can click the link here or type it in. Sweden.se culture-traditions. And learn more about it. Basically what they do. Is they go to the different sites or the area where you're buried, and they light candles. And apparently it's really a pretty sight, as you can see. So that's interesting there. I learned a lot. So essentially people don't go visit a graveyard all that often because you're kind of buried in a group setting, which we'll read more about that later. Now, like every place, there are fancy places, funeral. No, I don't want to click on that. I think I just allowed for cookies. Oh, well. All right, so here's the website. Svinkakirken, Göteborg. Again, I'm not Swedish, so you will forgive me. I do love the flowers, though. I'm a flower fanatic. So this is a famous graveyard in Sweden. And yes, you can translate into English. But as this is not my focus, we'll move forward. All right. Death cleaning. There's a couple books, YouTube video for you to watch. It's really an interesting concept. It's not just about cleaning out your crap. Mostly yes, but there's more to it. We did talk about her being a death doula, where she did some training. This is now a more acceptable career. So if you think of a birth doula, it's the same concept except a death doula. So you can look it up, explore further for yourself, and this is what I learned. Of course, there are hospices and palliative care teams, but it doesn't hurt to make a plan. So she is a funeral director, and she did opt to become a death doula. So technically she has dual careers. It's quite interesting. This is her. You can click the link or go see her beautiful homepage. that pretty? All right, so then we had a conversation on a Zoom call. So that was super fun. I don't want to say kudos to Zoom but you know, take what we can get. All right. So basically, coffins and urns have to be biodegradable, natural. They're very careful about where they put ashes. It's not just like they'll dump them anywhere. It's not as big as the United States. You can't just go throw them over the fence, basically. So things do get recycled over there. That's an interesting aspect that I was not aware of. So essentially there is no embalming, and it's very rare when you're asked to open the casket up after the funeral, because you're naturally dying, therefore you're naturally dead, therefore your natural body decay is happening. Roses seems to be a very popular flower, which personally surprised me because roses aren't the cheapest flower, but apparently it definitely shows the love. And she also has a florist that she works with that really tries to bring out the essence of a person, which I thought was interesting because, you know, again, at the end of the day, it is about celebrating that person's life. So trying to honor them in a floral display of sorts is quite unique. I also have a Pinterest page, so you can see some of that. I'll link in to that for sure. Well, you can see it at the top up here. So we'll come back to that. So yes, black is primarily worn. Things are getting a little more flexible, but black is a comfort color for most when it comes to a funeral. They are going to be having a celebration after they can get back to gathering, and the brother said, you know, my brother just liked wearing pink. I just want to honor him with that. So, fun enough. They're going to do a wear pink situation, which I think is great. I mean, it's just a color he liked. So, just watched the Addams Family 2019 movie last night. Really funny sideshow. And the Morticia mom was joking how Wendy was wearing pink, and that was the gateway color. That cracked me up. I used to like pink as a 16-year-old and under, so pink is where it was at. So as a death doula, people usually know when they're dying, so they will come to her. Usually it's just getting down to business and taking care of business. There's no point in telling fat fibs. You might as well get your crap out of the way and start dealing with life, because at this point, it is what it is. Now, after the funeral, she highly recommends you have some sugar, because obviously not for the person that died, but for the living who are having the celebration of life. that we have some sugar, either alcoholic or non. Boost your sugar levels back up. You're going to want some of that comfort food. Personally, it's macaroni and cheese, but for here, it's the sandwich cake. And you will probably want that comfort food. All right, let's scroll back to the top. Pinterest, like I mentioned. Celebrations of Life magazine and the various boards. So we've got, personally, I think some really great boards. Kids, I do cover in an upcoming month. I'm going to try to cover more about kids and dealing with grief in the November issue. Got some Etsy creators, got funeral flower ideas, pets we will get to, quirky funeral fashion, making your space cozy, having a memorial garden, displaying their collections. You know, people collect stuff over the years. Some easy recipes, some fall funeral ideas. Mistress wore what? Yeah, so that's my sense of humor, because you know in all the movies there's the mistress sometimes at the funeral and she wears the crazy quirky outfit, so, or the skin tight outfit. Then there's single flower big impact, because sometimes just a single flower by itself can make a big statement. Architecture of death shows you exactly that. There are various architectural pieces in the world that exist. Celebratory flowers, inappropriate, haha, you will see. Summer fashion, different concepts to celebrate loved ones. There's still more to come. Death culture around the world. Unique celebration send-offs, doings. Personally, I would love to have a s'mores bar at mine. I think that would be true to myself. So, yeah, that might look like a wedding thing, but I don't think it has to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that can be a funeral thing. You can make these, put them out in your nature. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do. So, sometimes you can take inspiration from the wedding stuff. Alright, so that's the Pinterest page, which can be found up here. Alright, so suicide awareness, yes, September is the month, but of course, should all be aware of it. It is a thing, it is a fact. It's a sad fact, but it does exist. So a friend of mine wrote this article. She is well versed in conversation about suicide. So post-traumatic stress is a conversation that is dealt with in suicide. A lot of you are going through various difficulties. Completely understand. I too realized my circle of friends is smaller than anticipated, that going to church, where I do reside in the state of Florida, things have opened up a little bit more so that's been nice. but trying to maintain community things difficult. So I have tried to stick to my hobbies. So, as I stated, Sheila Hollowell was the executive director of the crisis services in 2 separate states. She was around for the Columbine High School Massacre recovery, and she has been involved in suicide prevention for quite a while. If you wish to reach out to her, you'll have to send me an email vis-a-vis the one you see on the contact page. So these are things to look out for. These are the warning signs and the red flags. Isolating, irritable, verbal hints such as I wish I was dead, rebellious behavior, lots of trouble with the law, substance abuse, changes in sleeping and eating, preoccupation with death or dying, violence, obsessed with violence in music or movies, because you will note it has desensitized us in general, so we do need to pay attention to that. Neglecting your personal appearance, it's important you pay attention to that, because people just give up. So if you're seeing this neglect in personal appearance, that is one sure sign of giving up. Giving away everything, getting into frequent accidents, not necessarily a car, but around the house, etc. Decline in school or work performance, self-mutilation, and just reaching out and saying goodbye. So again, I direct you to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Again, that's suicidepreventionlifeline.org. So if you are struggling, because again, this is a unique environment we're all living in. So if you are the person that's feeling suicidal, take a moment and be kind to yourself. It is normal to have feelings of sadness, stressed out, anger. Don't ignore your mental health. Emotions are fluid, and no emotion lasts forever. So just take a moment. You might want to avoid watching the news. That can be disturbing. It can be sad. Don't listen to the rising rates of. It's not the end of the world. Flu also kill people. Pneumonia. I mean, it's inevitable at some point in life. Things are going to happen. But you don't be the cause. You don't create the death. Take care of your body. Reach out, stay connected. And seek help if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsafe. Okay? You have a gift to give to the world. You are not alone in your feelings. Again, suicidepreventionlifeline.org. You will find people there ready to listen, ready to talk. Okay? If you know that someone is struggling, keep checking on them. Let them vent. Sometimes we just got to get it out. Sometimes we got to shut up and just listen. Don't give advice. You don't walk in their shoes. You don't know what their thinking circumstances are, etc. You know, you can guide the conversation. Ask the open-ended questions. Sometimes routine is healthy. I mean, get up, take a shower, brush your teeth, wash your face, take your vitamins, step outside, take a deep breath, come back inside, eat some breakfast. I mean, whatever your routine is. Sometimes a routine is necessary. A little physical activity never hurt anybody. Hence, I take the nature walks. So if you happen to know of anybody that is thinking about suicide, don't keep it to yourself. It's not a secret. It's not healthy. Again, Suicide Prevention Lifeline.org. There are people there to help you. If you wanted to step out in nature with me, take a breath, de-stress. They're not that long. Well, that didn't go where I wanted it to. Gotta fix that link. Nonetheless, it's on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Let me find that YouTube channel real quick. Celebration of Life magazine here. There we are. So it's called Celebrations of Life. And again, you'll see, I mean, I do have a cat, so he's a funny creature. Had a great garden walk recently. Had some fun squirrel neighbors. Got some really cool pictures of lightning. I was safe, don't worry. But over on the East Coast near the Kennedy Center, there was some really interesting stuff that we got to see. I know that part's not interesting, but anyways. So, there is a YouTube page to enjoy these nature walks. Alright, so now we get into a little bit lighter. Death cleaning. Yeah, it's cleaning, so it's lighter. So there was a book. I skimmed through it about death cleaning. Where's my author? Is this it? No. Yes. So I read the book. Clearly I forgot to put her stuff here. I'll get to it, I promise. So it's about downsizing, cleaning out the stuff around you. Sometimes you're going to be cleaning out more than once. I mean, at some point, a gypsy moves, you move. You're moving around the country, you're moving around the neighborhood. You never know what you're going to take with you.